and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here or you've been here before but have not subscribed yet, please do so, along with hitting the thumbs up button and dropping your comments. Definitely want to hear your feelings about what I'm going to talk about today. This is a special video I'm putting out. It's a post-trade deadline video. The deadline came and passed, and the Knicks did not make another trade today, though it came close. There were a lot of rumors. Zach LaVine was in play for the Knicks, but they would not give up. That's right. They wouldn't give up Quentin Grimes. So once again, Quentin Grimes was the stumbling block for a big star. I mean, you can debate whether Zach LaVine is a superstar, but Donovan Mitchell definitely is. He was the piece that the Knicks would not part with. So they hold him in very high esteem, which indicates a lot of things about the Knicks. And we're going to talk about today is the aftermath. What does this mean for the Knicks moving forward for the last 26 games of the 2022-23 season? Are the Knicks, how much improved are they? Are they vastly improved? Are they moderately improved? Or are they kind of just somewhat just made a move to help them kind of keep continuing what they were doing? We're going to break that all down, and we're going to look at whether it's possible for the Knicks to even get the 5th seed or the 4th seed, even if that's possible. We're going to look at strength of schedule. We're going to look at the rotations. We're going to dive more deeply into the Josh Hart acquisition, and we're going to look at the strength of schedule for the remaining of the season. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. So this is where we are right now, February 9th. All right, I'm recording this right before midnight in New York time. All right, so this is really interesting because the Knicks right now, they're a half game behind the Heat, who won last night. They're 30-26. The Heat are 30-25. Brooklyn Nets, they won tonight. They beat the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls are a mess, honestly. How do you lose to a team like the Nets without Kyrie, without KD, without Mikal Bridges, without Cam Johnson? I don't even think Seth Curry played. And yet, the Brooklyn Nets were able to defeat the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls, not long ago, just maybe a little over a year ago, they were one of the best teams in the NBA. Now, they're not even in the playoff picture. They're in the play-in hunt. It shows how quickly things can change in the NBA. And today, there were so many trades. It was a whirlwind. I cannot even wrap my head around everything that happened. It was crazy. And if the Knicks had actually acquired Zach LaVine for the deal that they were proposing without Quentin Grimes, I would have been excited. Even though there are issues, he's definitely a defensive liability. Also, his knee is a big issue, and he's got a monster contract. All those things given, he definitely is an outstanding talent. So it would have been an interesting scenario if they had added him. But I will say this. I'm actually happy they didn't. I'm happy they didn't, because I like what I have been seeing as of late. Remember the main issue that we had was, hey, all right, so the Knicks, yeah, they've beaten some plus 500 teams, but they were weak, they were depleted, they were playing without their best people. Well, now we've seen them beat teams at full strength. They beat the Celtics. Excuse me. They beat the Celtics, they beat the Cavs, they beat the Heat, and they beat the Sixers. All teams ahead of them in the standings. And then when you look at the Nets, yes, they won tonight, but they are definitely a weaker team since yesterday, since 2 days ago. They're a weaker team. Will they stay 10 games over 500? I highly doubt it. Miami, they did nothing. They stood pat. Are they going to be able to make any damage? I highly doubt it. In fact, let's look at this. I tweeted this out today. Heat stayed put. Nets got worse. Knicks added a quality rotation piece. It's 5th/6th seed or bust for New York. Time for RJ to make that next leap. It must begin with smart, physical, shot contesting, charge taking, chest bumping, highly disrupted defense. You ready, RJ? Well, that's how I see it. He is the key piece, and we'll get into that. But I believe right now, when you look at these standings, the Knicks are sitting pretty. They are sitting very pretty. Don't worry, I'm going to get into all those stats. I'm kind of teasing you. We're showing you those graphics. So we look above Miami. Miami, they didn't do much. Are they going to continue playing the way they have been playing? Will they improve their play? I kind of highly doubt it. I think they are going to continue where they're at. It probably will slip a little, is my feeling. Brooklyn will definitely slip. Cleveland, they're a question mark. Do they have the ability to stick it through the entire season and go into the playoffs and really deliver some wins? That's all TBD. I don't give teams automatically. I don't sit there and say, hey, whoa, they got the roster. They're going to do this. Remember, I said it 2 years ago. I just said I don't believe in the Sixers, and they didn't do anything to make me believe in them. I said I don't believe in the Nets until I see it happen, until they're healthy long enough, and they didn't do it. Now they're a complete shell of their former selves. Excuse me. The Bucks and the Celtics are the two teams that I have to be concerned with on this list right here. Toronto actually did get better. They held on to all their pieces, and they added Jacob Poeltl. So they're going to be someone to contend with. But I can see the Bulls sliding. The Hawks, I kind of see them around their sub 500. Miami is the one that's a question mark. So I do see that there's an opportunity. I'm going to dive into it and show you exactly what I mean by this. But before we get to that, let's look at some highlights of Josh Hart. Let's look at, this is the game that he played last season, all right, March 12th against the Washington Wizards. In this game, he lit them up for 44 points, and he shot 15 of 21. This is the guy who's joining the Knicks right there. Nice little switch. Now, he's not shooting the three like he was last season. He's shooting at 30% right now. Last season, he was much better than that. So let's hope that he can recover his three-point stroke. He can get in there in the gym up at Westchester. No, or at, not Westchester. Where do they play? Where do they practice? White Plains or something? I can't remember exactly. Anyway, north of Manhattan, and which is basically Canada to me. So he's got to get in there with the shot machine and practice and get that three-point stroke back. But look at him. The other thing about him is his assists. The guy is a playmaker. The guy is averaging 4 assists a game. Okay, 3.9 to be exact. If he was on the Knicks right, I mean, he is on the Knicks right now. But if he was averaging that same amount on the Knicks, that would be good enough for third best on the Knicks. Jalen Brunson leads the Knicks with 6.2 assists. Randall's right second at 4.2, and then would be Hart at 3.9. The next closest is Quickly at 3.2, and then it's RJ Barrett at 2.8. So we've got ourselves a playmaker as well. That's going to help this team tremendously. Look at him move there. And his ability to finish is up there with the elites right now. I think he's averaging 70% right at the rim. Right at the rim. That's up there with, talk about, Mitchell Robinson neighborhood, Jericho Sims neighborhood. I mean, that's an outstanding number. But again, the three-point shooting, which is definitely something that we desperately need from him, because we actually already have guys who can finish at the rim. What we need is the outside shooting, which when we analyze the rotation, you'll see what I mean in terms of why I think he's going to end up being where he's going to be. Mostly because of unless the three-point shot reawakens for him. All right, let's get to this right here. All right, so here we go. This is what I think the new rotation is going to be. I think Thibs is going to expand to a 10-man rotation at first. I am guesstimating it'll be at least for a week or two, maybe at least 2 full weeks after the All-Star break. From now until 2 weeks after the All-Star break, this is the type of rotation that we're going to see, where Brunson's going to start, Grimes is going to continue starting, same with RJ, Randall, and Sims. I have Sims in parentheses there because later on when Robinson comes back, he'll be the starting center. And then off the bench, it's going to be Quickly, Deuce, Josh Hart, our new small forward for the bench, Obi Toppin, who thankfully did not get traded today, because I definitely feel that we would have been selling Obi on the low. Obi's got talents that have not been fully presented to the NBA. Actually, they have. NBA has seen it, but not for a long enough period of time to convince them what kind of player he is. So we still have some time to be able to showcase him if he's going to be part of a big star trade, which might happen this summer, or who knows what might happen in the future. You know, you never know. Injuries happen. Situations change. We never know. But at least for now, we haven't sold low on an asset that I feel has very high value, that can really perform. So, and then for the center would be Hartenstein. So that's the 5-man rotation that I see right now. I also would like to see Evan Fournier be a situational player in those games when we are struggling to get, like when we're facing a heavy zone, we need someone to shoot over the top of it, put in Evan Fournier. There's no reason why you can't go to this. If we see Steve Kerr can go to the 12-man rotation in certain games. Why can't Thibs? Excuse me for that. So, but in the event that Thibs eventually says, okay, well, we tried this 10-man thing, and let's say it's not working for him, and he wants to tighten it up and go to a 9-man, and Mitch has returned by then, this is the rotation that I see. There it is. So basically, I see Deuce is the one who gets sacrificed in this situation, and Sims. Deuce and Sims get sacrificed based on the dynamic, and I see this about a month from now. So it'll be our starting 5: Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, Robinson, Mitch, and then off the bench it'll be Quickly and Hart. I imagine Quickly will still be the first guy off the bench, though sometimes it might be Hart. And then Obi will be the power forward and Hartenstein, and the small forward role will be done by committee at that point. Sometimes we might see Barrett with that second unit, so I can see that would be a nice second unit. Sometimes he gets subbed out towards the end of the first quarter, so he can get brought back in with the bench. So that's the 9-man rotation that I see moving forward. I think this is a pretty potent one. Now, if you're asking me why do I think Hart won't start? Okay, this is the main reason why I think Hart won't start. Because he's shooting 30% from the three-point line. You can't have a guy in your starting rotation who's not hitting at least 35% from the three-point line. I don't care how effective a defensive player he is, how great of a playmaker he is, what a glue guy, how great of a rebounder he is. We have 3 guys that drive to the basket already. We don't need a 4th. And Hart can't replace RJ in the starting lineup because Hart doesn't shoot the 3 right now as effectively as he has in the past, or as the Knicks need for a starting unit. It would definitely cripple the dynamic of the starting unit for Josh Hart to start at the moment. Now, a month from now, he may regain his 3-point stroke, and then we'll readdress it. It may be a completely different scenario by then. We don't know. Hopefully, Grimes will continue to develop. His shot has, there's been times where he's been hesitant to take a shot. There's many first quarters where he provides 0 offense, but then we see him late in the fourth quarter where he's there for that nice Randall or Brunson finds him out on the perimeter for that big 3-point shot. All that is TBD. All that is TBD at the moment, to be determined. So, but currently, Hart is struggling from the 3-point line, and he cannot start on a team that is seriously contending for a playoff spot in the East in the NBA. So that is my rationale for that. So, and I already showed you this. All right. These are some interesting stats I want to show you guys. This is the Knicks in the last 33 games since December 4th, when the rotation got reduced to 9 and Deuce was put into the rotation, and Cam and Evan Fournier were taken out of it. The Knicks are 20-13 since then, with a winning percentage of .606 for 7th best in the NBA. So the Knicks have the 7th best record in the entire NBA since December 4th. That is real. And now we got better. This team got better in the right spots. And I picked out these stats specifically to show you guys. Now, the Knicks, for the season, from the 3-point line are averaging only 34.4% from the 3-point line, which is good enough for 23rd best in the NBA. However, that's the whole season. However, since the rotation got tightened up and since December 4th, the Knicks are averaging 36.2%, which is 17th best in the NBA. So they climbed up 6 spots. Unfortunately, the addition of Josh Hart isn't going to directly help us immediately with that. He's going to have to regain his stroke from the past. Actually, let's look at to look at his stats again. Before we look at these stats, I want to look at these stats here. So you can see Josh Hart. I like him. He's a good guy. So in the past, like last season, he averaged 34.3%. I'd take that right now. That'd be awesome. When he got traded to Portland from New Orleans last season, he averaged 37.3% in those last 13 games. So if he could get up to that, let's say the trade reinvigorates his stroke and he's averaging 37.3%, then that'll be a tremendous boost. My feeling is that that's a very realistic possibility. He's coming home-ish to say, per se. He's coming to the East. He's played at MSG before. He's going to be joined with his buddy who won an NCAA championship with, Jalen Brunson, his former college teammate. I think there's a very good possibility that he could regain his three-point stroke. He has shot the three-point shot well in his past. His rookie year, he shot almost 40%, and then in 2019, in 2020, in last season, when he was traded to Portland, he averaged 37%. So there's a chance that there is, let's say, I would take a 35% three-point shooting from a guy like Josh Hart gladly because of the other intangibles he gives you. The assists, the rebounding, and the defense. That helps compensate for a few percentage points here and there that you don't get in three-point shooting that you would get from a Quentin Grimes. All right, let's get back to this. All right. Excuse me about this cough. So let's review this. So since December 4th, the Knicks are averaging 36.2% from the three-point line, which is 17th best. But rebounding, the Knicks are averaging 47.6 rebounds per game, which is the second best in the entire NBA. And now we have added the best rebounding guard in the NBA. Yeah, it's no longer Russell Westbrook. The best rebounding guard in the NBA is Josh Hart, and we've just added him. And also, who's a great rebounding guard? Quickly. So we already had one really good hot top-end rebounding guard. Now we've added a second one. So this stat here is only going to continue. It's fortifying that. It's reinforcing where we already have an advantage. Now, where we had a weakness, and it is going to help, is in the assists. We are the worst team in assists since December 4th, 21.8%. Now we've just added a guy who's averaging 4 assists per game, who would automatically be the third highest assist maker on the Knicks currently right now. So there's a bump up right there. Then when you look at turnovers, he doesn't turn the ball over much at all. I think he's averaging 1.9 turnovers a game currently, and the Knicks are third best. They turn the ball over third fewest in the NBA. So that's fantastic. So we get rebounds, we protect the ball. Those are the hustle stats, and that's where he adds to that. He actually makes us better in those aspects when we are already dominating. Then net rating, and then when I show you the cleaning the glass stats, it's really going to bring it home for you guys. So since December 4th, the Knicks are have the sixth highest net rating in the entire NBA. That's the points per 100 possessions, the offensive rating and defensive rating. and the net differential of that is we are a plus 4.1, which is sixth best. And then when it just comes down to straight plus minus, we outscore the opponent by 4.3 points per game in the last 33 games since December 4th, which is also sixth best in the NBA. Sixth best! That sixth best. There are only 5 teams better. That's it in the entire NBA. This is 33 games now. This is serious, people. This is not a fluke. This is the real deal. This team is a very good team. Do they have the superstar? Do they have guys playing like superstars? Yes. Brunson and Randall are playing like superstars. Randall has already been selected to the All-Star game, and I feel like Brunson will probably get that next nod, especially since Kyrie's going to take over Steph Curry's position. So someone's got to take over Kyrie's in the East. So now the Knicks have two All-Stars. Things have changed dramatically this season. Things have changed. There was at one point we were looking at a season that was going to be completely lost. Thibs was stuck in his ways. He was still trying the old thing. He was ignoring the youth. Then he finally woke up. And then the last game, he actually coached one of his best fourth quarters that I've seen in a while. And he had been doing it for the previous few games recently. So shout out to him for that. So this is the strength of schedule for the remaining of the season. The Knicks have the 4th most difficult strength of schedule. Their opponents all currently have a .519 winning percentage. Only Sacramento, the Clippers, and the Sixers are going to face opponents with an aggregate higher winning percentage than the Knicks. But look right below. It's the Nets right there. We're currently above them in the standings. And then you look a little further down on the map. Miami's 12th. They're going to face a 502 team. So those two teams, let's say that they're not getting a walk. They're not getting they're not looking at an easy, soft schedule for the remaining of this season. And those are the two teams that we got to keep an eye on in terms of climbing up the seeding ranks right now. All right, let's get to. There we go. Back to this. Okay, so I talked about the assists. Now I want to show you guys Josh Hart's cleaning the glass on-off stats. All right, if you guys remember, if you're not familiar with this, anything that's in an orange is very good. Top end. Those are percentiles. So, for example, if you look at the bottom there, that's the on-off differential for the 2022-23 season for Josh Hart. The first orange box on the left under differential there's a 91 in there. That means he's in the 91 percentile. 91 percentile in the entire NBA. Just up there in the nosebleed of the most impactful players when they come onto a court. The Portland Trail Blazers were a plus 9.1 points per 100 possessions better when Josh Hart was on the court. And to break it down, as we move further to the right, expected wins when he's on the court is a plus 22. The offense, averaged a plus 4 points better when he was on the court, which is an 80th percentile. The field goal percentage was a plus 2.5, which is 84th percentile. Turnover percentage is a minus 1.2, which is good. You want to be under. So that means he protects the ball. He doesn't make those crazy plays. He doesn't cough the ball up, especially hopefully in the fourth quarter. His offensive rebounding is a minus 1.6, which is interesting because he's such a good rebounder. So maybe he's more of a better defensive rebounder, which is really important in today's game with so many three-point shots going up in the air, long rebounds coming off. And you need a guard who can hunt those rebounds down. So this is more of offensive rebounding. Now let's look at the defensive numbers. The 88. When he's on the court, he impacts the team so thoroughly defensively that he makes them go up to an 88 percentile defensively. Opponents score, on average, 5.1 points less when he's on the court. And they shoot an average of 2.1% field goal percentage worse. The turnover percentage is a little bit, it's not as exciting, 34%, which is interesting because he does get a good amount of steals. And opponents do get a little bump offensive rebounding and free throw rate. But at the end of the day, it's the points differential that matters the most there. So, when you think about where we are, over here. So in net rating, we're now adding a player who's going to positively impact us when he's on the court. That means while he's on the court, we will generally outscore opponents. Now, will we outscore them by 9 points, as they had, Cleaning the Glass was saying? We'll see. It's not always exactly transferable. We'll see, but he will definitely make a positive impact. So as that net rating goes up, there'll be more wins to be had. So then when you look at the winning percentage since December 4th, 606. A 606 winning percentage for the remaining 26 games of this season amounts to 16 wins. 16 wins plus the 30 we have brings us to 46 wins. 46 wins is more than good enough for the 6th seed, and it might even get us the 5th seed. Now, that's only looking at it just analytically, just numbers. But then there's actual chemistry when guys are out on the court. And remember, there's the familiarity of Brunson and Hart. And Hart being a glue guy, a good guy, a positive influence. And also, there's a chance that his three-point shot might get a little bit revived. So it's possible the Knicks may even win up to 17 or 18 of the remaining 26 games. If that happens, that's good enough for 47 or 48 wins, which will definitely put them in the conversation for possibly even 4th seed. That's right. They might even topple the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's where we're at right now. That's why I'm excited about this acquisition, this addition without subtraction. Cam Reddish was just not a part of the rotation anymore, so it's not like it hurts only emotionally, and it hurts. It hurts in terms of potential. I always felt like he could have given us more if he'd gotten a more meaningful opportunity, but that wasn't the case for the past 33 games. He was just sitting on the bench doing nothing. And Svi and Ryan Arcianato, they were just they were at the end of the bench. So now we've taken those three and turned them into something that could really help this team position themselves to get a playoff seed where it's possible that the opponent that they're facing in that first round is an opponent that they could beat. And then the Knicks could get into the second round. That's what we're talking about right now. Can you see that big smile just crawl across my face as I said that? I think it's really possible, guys. I really think it's possible. I mean, we're talking about a guy who lit up the Wizards for 44 points not that long ago. He's a guy who there might be nights where he closes the game because he's like the best shooter on the game. He's the most productive player on the court, where he's like got 38 points. There will be nights like that. So we've added another high, like a guy who can give you 30 on any given night. That's what we've added tonight. So we already had Randall, which we know he can do it. We already had RJ, which we know he can do it. And we've seen Brunson do it repeatedly. And now we have a 4th guy, Josh Hart. I know that Grimes has it in him. I know definitely has it in him. I know IQ has it in him, but they just don't get the minutes this year. The way the offense is structured, it's not dependent upon them to do it. We basically go to our big 3 high usage guys, but now we have a 4th guy who will have the respect of his fellow teammates because he's earned it. He's done his time in the NBA, and he's got an NCAA championship ring. And so the guy, or do they give rings? I can't remember. But I mean, he's legit. They're not going to toy with him. This acquisition of Josh Hart is going to reinforce what the Knicks have already begun doing. It's not going to disrupt it. And that's the best part of this whole story. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts about it are. I will see you around. Oh, yeah. Hey, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button for me, and drop your comments. Definitely want to hear your thoughts about it. And I will see you around. the Knicks-Verse.